welcome into the Bring It In show. It's Glenn and Kellz. As always, what's going on, Kellz? How's it going?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Man, we got we're right on the heels of the NFL draft, and I don't know if you have you noticed how many players it's going to be the second time we're seeing these last names on the field. Have you noticed this? It's like a at least 10 players that are following in the footsteps of their fathers coming through the NFL draft. How
That's
exciting is that?
it's really cool. I only knew of two of them, so that's sweet that there's eight more
Yeah,
out there.
and there may even be more. Who were the two that you
Obviously, I feel
knew?
like everybody knows Harrison because
Yeah,
he's been
Marvin Harrison Jr.,
Marvin
who,
Harrison.
and he's supposed to be going within the top
Yeah,
four at least, I think,
yeah.
is what the latest I've seen on him. Man, and I feel like any team who gets him is gonna be lucky.
Are there any McCaffreys in this draft?
There is
See,
another McCaffrey coming up.
that's cool.
Uh, I can't remember his name, but
But but no,
I
that's
think
good
I think I'm pulling it up.
because those are the only two that I knew of. Obviously, like I said, Harrison's such a high draft pick. I feel like a lot of people knew him,
Yeah,
but
Marvin
then
Harrison Jr. We
but then
had him.
I was like, I know a couple McCaffrey's been in college, just didn't know what year.
Yeah. Luke. Luke
Yeah, that's
McCaffrey,
it. That's
a
him.
wide receiver from Rice. He's there. And I mean, Luke McCaffrey, when we're talking about him, I mean, coming from Rice, I I mean, who knows what to expect? The history on the McCaffreys is that they have always been hard workers. So you would think that he would just follow in the footsteps of brother, dad, uncles, things like that. So you expect he's got high expectations. I don't think anybody's looking at him to be what his brother has accomplished, but they look at him as he's going to be something, you know. Um,
Where do you think he'll go? Like what round?
I yeah,
5 to 7 maybe,
yeah, probably.
because it's Rice.
What's the first round is just the first night. Then the second day just the second round or the second and third day
Might be
or
this.
second and third round on
Might
this.
be second and some of the third. I think on the second day.
Okay,
Pretty sure.
yeah, fifth probably sounds right unless I mean, see, this is the other thing. Like, unless, like, say the Denver Broncos, who have been part of that family in the past, are like, we missed by not grabbing Christian. Let's go after him. Like, see, that's the only thing I could see people see some of these guys going a little higher than you may expect because of the history behind their name, and some people almost being like, well, I'm not letting him go past the third round.
Yeah.
So I could see him going like towards the third just because of something like that.
Yeah. You know the McCaffreys are gonna put that work in.
Yeah. And then, man, we're talking about him for the past couple years, and man, we've been on air since 2019, Kellz. You and I starting this thing up
Woo,
way back in the day,
man.
running through, always, always there, just like Frank Gore. Frank Gore Jr. is in this year's draft finally. So what? We went 2 years without a Frank Gore in the league. He's
Not
back.
anymore. He's back.
Maybe a different version. Maybe Frank Gore Jr., but Frank Gore will be playing in the NFL this next year. So
He's got some
yeah,
skills like his dad too, man. Remember we were talking about that bowl game where he
yeah,
went off. Golly. Oof.
man. So
Where do you think he goes?
oh man,
Fourth
yeah,
round. That seems about right. Somewhere in the middle of the pack.
oh yeah. I mean, his dad went in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
And I mean, his dad's a Hall of Famer, right?
I would have. I mean, you
He's
would
got
have
to
to think
be,
so. Yeah, I think
right?
so.
He's got to be up at the top, I would think, of all-time yards, just because he was there for so long, and I mean, productive. Like, I would think he's got to be.
He was durable like a fullback, but he was playing running back. You know, it was weird. He didn't have a lot of injuries that I noticed.
Yeah, man. So these aren't just right here. What we're going through aren't just NFL legacies. These are like Hall of Fame legacies that we've been talking about so far. I mean, the expectations, especially, I want to say the next step that sports medicine has taken, and you've already reached this level. It's one thing that, like, at one point we're hoping to see Michael Jordan's kids elevate, but when they got to college, you kind of saw that they weren't going to take that next step. These guys have taken that next step, and the way sports medicine is, you almost got to feel like these guys are going to be better than their parents were, if not just as good. Um, and the names that I'm listing off are are guys who have sat there and watched their parents be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. And the next name is no different. Well, I guess Frank Gore Jr. hasn't gotten to see his dad enshrined in the Hall of Fame because his dad played for like almost 20 years. So we haven't gotten there. I think he's still got like 3 years until he's eligible, I almost want to say. Maybe, yeah. So we're still there. But then we're looking at a wide receiver from USC, Brendan Rice. Man, those are some big shoes to fill. I don't know how much sports medicine can get you above the level that I was just talking about. I don't know, because I mean, we got there's no way that you can't argue that Jerry Rice is at least one of the top 3 wide receivers of all time. And I'm just I'm being lenient by saying top 3 because I guarantee like 80 to 99% of people out there that know sports would automatically just put Jerry Rice as the all-time number 1 receiver ever to play football. We got guys out there like Randy Moss and Chris Carter, but I mean, when you say wide receiver, Jerry Rice, I mean, he did it, and there's almost no comparison. But now his son is coming into the NFL draft. So these are, I mean, how many is that so far?
You said 5 or 4? 4, 5, let's see. You said.
I think that's 4 so far.
4. That's 4. That's right. We said Harrison, McCaffrey, Gore, and then Rice. So yeah, that's 4. That's 4. 4 of the 10. It's crazy.
4
there's
of the 10.
It's crazy. There's even 5. That's crazy. It's so many
And then I
kids
got
following their dad's footsteps.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So those are the huge names in there, in my opinion. Then we got offensive tackle from Notre Dame, Joe Alt. His dad, John Alt, was a 21st pick in round 1 back in '84. Then you got Javon Foster, offensive tackle from Missouri. His dad, back in '83, went 5th round. Jerome Foster, he was the defensive lineman, played for Oilers, Dolphins, the Jets. Drake Nugent, he's a center. His dad was a quarterback, Terry Nugent, back in '84. He was picked in the 6th round. He went around, played for the Cleveland Browns, then bounced around for a few years, hitting up some practice squads. And Johan Ellis from Utah, his dad was Luther Ellis. He got a couple dozen Pro Bowls back in his time. And we're still going. Jalen Harrell, his dad, James Harrell. He was undrafted, but he did play about 9 seasons for the Lions. Chris Jenkins from Michigan. His dad, Chris Jenkins, who was Terrapin from Maryland, played for the Carolina Panthers, Jets. I mean, these are guys that I don't necessarily know their father's names, but these are guys that have helped the NFL continue. You're not going to know every Brendan Rice and things like that. Linebacker Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I do remember Jeremiah Trotter from the Philadelphia Eagles back in the day, but I don't know if that's just because I grew up close to the Eagles or not. And then there are even two more guys. So that's a huge class, in my opinion. I don't know if I've ever heard of this amount of NFL youth going on to the next level.
Yeah, that's a ton. I would imagine that has to be a record. If we're not counting, like, brothers.
Yeah. 13. That's
13.
13. 13, man. So have you been paying attention to the draft at all?
I normally don't hop in until like closer to it. I know, or the Bears are gonna get Williams, right? Like that's the big thing that everyone thinks.
Uh,
Or who's
as
first?
as far as I know,
Because they
yes,
got rid of Field, so I think everybody kind of assumes and knows
that they're
that.
going straight for
Yeah,
Williams. Um, yeah, as everything that I've seen is Caleb Williams to the Bears. And we'll see how that works out. Commanders are going with that second pick. They're looking to pick up a quarterback as well.
I
The
wonder who they pull.
Patriots,
I guess there's going to be three QBs off the board in a row.
three QBs off the board in a row. And then that's why they're saying Marvin Harrison Jr. falls to the number 4 spot, which is crazy because normally with it, I mean, yeah, the first 2 picks you usually get like a high power wide receiver, but to not see a some kind of line presence up there in the top. I mean, the first 3 are quarterbacks, and I mean, I think the Bears need more than a quarterback right now.
Yeah,
In my opinion.
I agree.
Um, so that's why they're thinking Marvin Harrison Jr., like I was saying, is going to drop to the number 4 spot, get picked up by the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, if anything can save the Cardinals, it's got to be Marvin Harrison Jr. He just get over top of everybody. So, I mean, he's known as the best player in the draft. I would try to get, I don't know.
I know Bowers is going to be good wherever he goes from Georgia. Brock Bowers is he's an animal at tight end.
Yeah, I see on this mock draft I'm looking at right now, I'm seeing him go at number 10 to the New York Jets. So that's an up and down situation. Do we know what the Jets are going to bring to the table? They have a really good team. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I do believe I want to say they've already cut ties with Zach Wilson. As far as I know, Aaron Rodgers is the only quarterback on their roster. Um,
And
this is
that's
when,
good. That's good that he didn't come back last year.
yeah. I mean, can
Yeah,
you imagine if he had come back and then hurt himself?
it'd have been so stupid.
Yeah. It would. I don't. I don't know
Until
why he
until
would
the
have done that.
Jets show us, though, I think the Jets are exactly what we think they are. Y'all have a really good roster on paper, but what are you gonna do when it counts?
Yeah, well, and that's the biggest thing about him is, well, I guess it does look like Zach Wilson is still on the team. He's the number 3 quarterback for him listed. while Tyrod Taylor was a 2024 free agent signing.
Okay, so they do have a backup plan if something happens. Rodgers
Yeah,
gets hurt for a game or something like that.
which Tyrod, in my opinion, is definitely, and he's listed as the backup. And I think that's a better option than Zach Wilson. So, but I mean, maybe they'll also make more moves further down, because I see the Brock Bowers being a great move, especially if Brock Bowers being a great move, especially if Aaron Rodgers is healthy. I mean, that's the biggest thing. That's when everything fell apart last year, is when Aaron Rodgers went down. And it was hard to say that because, I mean,
It was second play of the season for him on offense.
yeah, it's like 18 seconds into the season, he goes down. So it's not like they had a lot of opportunity to do things, but they did look good in spring training and things like that. So, um, I'm seeing the Broncos, it looks like, are at number 12 in this mock draft I have in front of me. It's got a projected trade between the Broncos and the Eagles, and gives the Eagles get the number 12, and the Broncos get 3 picks throughout the first, second, and down into the fourth. So that's where they're going. Are you okay with that? Are
Oh
you
yeah, yeah. Because we're adding picks, right? We just go a little bit farther down.
Yeah, you're adding
Yeah,
picks.
it's a heavy draft class, you know.
I mean, you would go from 12 to 22, and in that situation, they have you guys. They have you guys grabbing Bo Nix at 22.
I like
What are
it.
your feelings?
I like it. Experience. He's been there a long time. He's a pretty good dude from what I can tell off the football field too.
Yeah,
So hopefully we bring some goodness back to our locker room and not so much drama.
yeah. I mean, see, and then this is where I'm like flabbergasted again. Um, we have Bo Nix going at 22, and I don't doubt that he'll go at 22. I mean, these guys that do the drafts, these guys who are making the mock draft, they're usually not too far off. So it's not going to shock me, but the thing that shocks me is that where the mock drafts and the football teams get things wrong is, my question is, after Caleb Williams goes number 1, I got 2 other quarterbacks going number 2 and number 3, and in my opinion, I've never even been a Bo Nix fan, but my opinion, him slipping all the way down to 22 seems crazy. Like, Drake May, yeah, he's performed, but who was he performing against?
Yeah, a down ACC.
I mean, so when we're looking at all this stuff, it's not unfound to find a quarterback who's better than everybody else at the end of end of the round while all these guys that are up at the top fizzle out in a couple years. But I just don't know if anybody's learned anything. Like you saw Lamar in college and how he just pulled through and he was a winner. And I almost feel like Bo Nix is a winner, it seems like. And I mean, I think if you guys got him, it would be great for you guys. I mean, for your sake, I hope that all works out in your favor like that. I mean, because I don't think that Drake May is going to be the savior for the New England Patriots. I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to be the savior for the Washington Commanders. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
my opinion.
But I think we both agree that at least Jaden Daniels is the dual threat. Drake May has potential to do exactly what Mac Jones just did.
Yeah, hey, that's my biggest thing is seeing that Jaden Daniels. See, I say he's not going to be the savior for the Commanders, but at the same time, I probably don't think that Bo Nix would be the savior for the Commanders. I probably don't think anybody's going to be the savior for the Commanders.
That was the only reason I said that, because it's the team.
Yeah, it's that situation.
They always have star power, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh, there they are. There they are.
There they went.
There they went. Yeah, exactly. There they went.
So I want you guys to stick with us while we take a quick little break for some station identification. And remember, you're listening to the Bring It In Show on WRUULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. And we are back Welcome back to the Bring It In show. Glenn and Kellz with you. Man, Kellz, when we hit up the NBA last week, I was very, 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 very wrong about my thoughts on what could happen. Um, man, now we're sitting and we've gotten the first set of games for round one have all been played, correct?
Yep, I believe so. Yep.
On Saturday and then Sunday, I want to say.
Yeah, I think it was.
Um, so, are there any surprises out there going on that you see?
I would say Damian Lillard having 35 in the first half of a playoff game is that's just wild. I'm not saying that he's not capable of it, but you just don't normally see a player in the playoffs get 35 in a half.
He got in the first half.
I'm pretty sure that's what the headline said.
Yeah, it does say that.
And I was like, Jesus, man. Have they ever heard of a double team?
Well, it looks like they may have afterwards. He didn't get hurt, did he?
No, I think what happened was they pulled away so much that they played the whole second and third unit the rest of the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because it looks like after in the second half he only scored 3.
yeah, I think they just played him for a second and they were just like, Dame, come here.
So does that if so where is Giannis?
Did he play?
He did not play.
Yeah, might have something tweaked.
Okay.
And I just think they don't think that the Pacers are really going to challenge him much, so they're just Doc Rivers. They're like he's probably holding his ace in the hole.
Yeah, I mean, and man, so they go through. I mean, does this make them one of the favorites? With Dame proving that he can still pull it out and put it on you, like take control.
Yeah, I would say it does because they went from Holiday, who's with the Celtics now, playing that superb defense, and playing just high IQ guard, to like a guard that can kind of take over like Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, because if you add the big and Giannis and the experience with Bobby Portis and Lopez steps up, there's a lot of guys that can step up for Milwaukee and they could really hurt you if Dame's on fire.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it wasn't really that surprising to me that New Orleans held it so close with OKC because OKC is so young.
Yeah.
Like OKC's youth, I think this series is gonna expose them a little bit, and even if they get through, I think the second round they get bumped out.
It really like magnifies once they get to the second round.
Yeah, because once you're in the playoffs, it's just the seeding doesn't matter if you have so much inexperience.
Does the seeding change, or does it go straight through for the NBA?
I feel like it'll go like straight through. I feel like, but no matter what, like second round, no matter what side of the bracket you're on, you're going to draw experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's East or West. Like, it's just a gauntlet after the first round. Like, first round, you got a couple of pretenders. And then the second round, it's like, all right, you better bring it and pray you don't get injured.
Okay.
Because there's just that much of a gap between the first round and second round,
Yeah. And then we got game 2s tonight. Do you are, are you expecting more of the same, like with the Nuggets just beating the Lakers, like Lakers in the playoff? I mean, are we over that now? And do the Knicks find a way to beat the Sixers again? Are we over those teams? Has their time passed? Because it seems like that's where we are to me.
So like old New York, you saw how slow they started out in the game.
Yeah,
Old New York would have lost that game by 15 or 20. But New York, it's like, dude, DiVincenzo can shoot the lights out. Jalen Brunson's one of the best guards slash players in the league. Like right now, as far as hot, he's just
yeah,
hot. And then they got a good core group in New York. So I think New York is different. Remember, I told you it'd be that's one of my shockers of how deep they could go. Even though they're a 2 seed, they got to wash that history. But yeah, like Sixers don't impress me. And what was the other one? The other one was
the Lakers.
Lakers definitely don't impress me because here's the thing: if D'Angelo Russell does not find a way to play like we know he can in the playoffs,
Yeah,
I don't know if they even get one. They
the
might get,
Lakers may
yeah.
not get one.
I mean, they might get two if he can show up, because the Lakers tend to play good at home in the playoffs. Like it's just known that all the Hollywood stars come out,
Yeah.
So I do think there's a potential they could get two, but there's also a potential we can call for a broom.
Okay.
So yeah, I do think we're on the other side of those teams, if that's a nice way of putting it.
And then another team that can't impress you anymore has got to be the Miami Heat with Jimmy Butler not there and Tyler Hero being like the best player on the Heat at the moment. But I mean, let's be honest, he's still missing more shots than he's making, like crazy, shooting like maybe 30% or something like that. But
Yeah.
he's the only one who can make anything. So it's like they have to let him shoot a bunch.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I talked to Josh about last year. I didn't like a lot of the offseason moves breaking up that squad they had.
Yeah.
I'd have kept Gabe Vincent. I'd have kept the twin. Sorry to call him that, but you know who I'm talking about. What's his name? Martin. Something Martin. One of the twins. One of the Martin twins. But yeah, they just had a really good, and Struce. They should have kept a lot of their guys because Miami's got such a huge payroll. Look what they're paying their head coach. So I see just sneaking in, just getting by now, and then now Jimmy's hurt and another person is hurt, and it's just like this is why you need a deep team to go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Can't just rely on Jimmy.
So I'm going to ask you two questions. Who right now today is your favorite to win the championship? And who is out there and you would love to see win the championship? And when I say love to see, like I know you're a Celtics fan, but take the fandom out of that question if you can, and like the story that you'd like, and you might even the story still may be point you in the direction of the Celtics. So who do you think is the favorite overall, and who has that feel good story you'd like to see win?
So the favorite has to be the Celtics, just because like they've been the best team all year. They have,
Yeah.
to me, the best bench in the playoffs. I would love to see the Celtics play the Knicks, and if either one of those teams made it to the finals, I would be okay with either one.
Okay.
I do think this is the year. This is Celtics' year to lose because they're that good. They are that good, but they have to play up to it in the later rounds.
Yeah.
We've seen them fall off the last couple seasons in the later rounds. So let's take the fandom out of it. I don't know why, man. I just have this New York feeling, this Knicks feeling, man.
Okay.
But the Celtics should be the team to at least be in the finals, both conference and the whole shebang. Celtics got it to lose. Sleeper team would be Milwaukee because of experience now.
Yeah. It's Milwaukee. I almost feel like that's my feel good story, even though they are so close, so closely removed from winning a championship. Just the way that Dame stuck around Portland really makes me want Milwaukee to win a NBA championship, just so Dame can finally win a championship. That's like my feel good story because I've always liked Dame, and I really respected the way they stuck around the Blazers until they just like kept making moves and not talking to him about them. They
Yeah.
promised him all this stuff and then kept him in the dark for things. So, but he stuck around. And then yeah, I almost think the team that I just expect to win it will be the Celtics, just because they've been there year after year, and it seems like they are a team. Like some teams can get there year after year and it be a bad thing, but it seems like the Celtics have learned lessons going year after year. So we'll that's how I'm feeling about that guy.
And you see right there, either one of us could have went Nuggets because of last year.
Yeah, and I mean,
But we felt that last year. Remember how high we were on the Nuggets last year?
yeah,
I don't know what it is about it. I'm just not feeling. I'm not feeling like the Nuggets are getting all the way this year. They might get to the Western Conference Finals, or they might
yeah,
get to the finals. But I don't know. They just seem like a different team this playoff run. And the West is hard, you know. The East, I feel like these first couple rounds they might be able to cruise because the top teams are that good.
yeah,
The West is a gauntlet. And, you know, OKC, it's a hard team to know what you're going to get day in and day out because they're so young. The oldest guy on their starting five is like what, 23, 24 or something.
I don't even know, but I know
It's something crazy like
they're
that.
young.
Their average age of their starter is like 21 and a half years old.
Yeah.
And the Timberwolves, you know, Timberwolves are sneaky good.
Yeah. It's well, we'll see. I mean, I expect one of the powerhouses, Celtics or the Bucks.
Yeah.
Or the Nuggets to win it. Out of those three, I would say those are my favorites. And man, talking about gambling, our guy Shohei Ohtani, did you see what he did?
Oh God, what did he do?
He hit his, what was it, 150th 476th career home run against the New York Mets. It was a 423-foot bomb, making him now he has the most home runs by a Japanese born Major League Baseball player. So it's a historic home run, and he's still doing it. And it still blows my mind that he can be out there hitting, and he's hitting bombs, and he's recovering from Tommy John surgery.
Yep.
It's so weird how the arm works.
He's
How,
like, what's an elbow?
He can't throw a baseball, but he can still hit a bomb.
He's like, you think I'm worried about this? He's like,
the muscles and ligaments and elbows are so weird.
He said, in 10 years, I'll have a brand new elbow, and I'll have so much money, I don't even got to throw a baseball ever again if I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm over here trying to figure out how to build an elbow.
Right?
Man, did you see there was supposed to be a huge pay-per-view boxing fight this weekend?
Yep.
And there was kind of. I mean, there was still a pay-per-view boxing event. I don't know how I feel about this whole show of things. I mean, last week, if you would have asked me what I want to happen, I would have said I want to see Garcia win the belt. But the shenanigans that happened during the weigh-in, I don't know.
Yeah, I heard about that, and it's so tough to. You can't be overweight.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be able to be overweight by 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds.
And the thing is, he's just like, they say he went on a bender before, and at the weigh-ins, he chugged a beer. But as a professional fighter, I mean, you got to know where you're at on your weight.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to hold yourself back from a bender because that's just going to be the water weight.
Exactly.
And then to put the icing on the cake, you're going to chug a beer right before you get on the scale. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about this.
I knew you'd be conflicted because you're a wrestler.
Yeah, man.
You got to make weight.
You got to make weight.
Man, I was so happy for him. And then the story came out, and I was like, God, you goofball. Why you always have to have drama surrounding you ever since you fought Tank? Why is there just drama surrounding you, man?
And it's, I mean, to make weight, like at that level, you have people around you. I mean, I don't understand when, especially there's a championship belt on the line. I mean, so much money out there. I mean, yeah, I feel like he's not only okay, because this is my biggest problem with this whole thing, because a lot of people will say, well, he can afford to lose I think it was like $1.5 million that he lost before the fight because he can afford that. Then people say, he ended up winning, so he still won money, just not as much as he was supposed to, and he didn't win the belt. Okay, I hear all this, but he's in a sport where the clock is ticking. Once that clock starts ticking, it is ticking, and it does not stop. He just wasted at least 6 months of his life training for this fight that he was 3.5 pounds overweight for. Know how much it costs to train for 6 months? He lost all that money that he was putting into that he was getting from his sponsors. Then he loses money in a weird bet that he made with the guy. I mean, why are we even making bets about the whoever is every pound that one of us is overweight is $500,000? Why are we not just making weight?
Yeah, I get it. I'm with you. But you know what happened, right?
What,
His
during the
his
fight?
no,
Oh,
well, before the fight, his team bet on him because the odds,
yeah.
and he made 12 million off that bet. So
I mean,
I guess he felt like my purse can wash my weight money or whatever,
yeah,
which is ridiculous because why wouldn't you want the belt? Why wouldn't you want to just make
yeah,
weight? Those 3.5 pounds, like, bro, you still would have put them on the canvas 3 to 5 times. Like, what are you doing?
yeah.
Like, I'm with you. There's no discipline behind that. I'm sure your brother would
I
say the
mean,
same thing as a fighter, man. Where's your
you
discipline?
you still would have made that money, made not lost
You made more.
1.5,
You made more
made
money.
more, had a belt, gotten a couple more sponsors.
100%. You actually lost future money doing that.
I
I'm with
mean,
you.
like,
I'm with you.
yeah, you made money. Okay, I see what you're doing with your gambling and stuff, but you you didn't win a belt.
Isn't that what you're there for?
Yeah, you didn't win a belt, and that's the biggest flaw in that is because now you have to train for 6 more months. And I mean, most likely you should get a chance at the rematch, but you didn't make weight. So
His team might be
I could see
reluctant to try and even fight you again because they're not going to like that.
they're gonna want to try to schedule a different fight
Yeah.
as fast as possible because one, they don't want to fight you because they know that you're going to knock their guy back on his rear most
Yeah.
likely. So they're going to try to schedule a fight before that, and they're going to use the excuse that last time we spent 6 months training for this fight, your boy made a mockery of the whole system, chugging beers at weigh-in, not make him wait.
Yeah.
It's one thing to put on the show when you make weight. It's another thing when you don't make weight.
Yeah. It's a very arrogant move by him too because it's like we said, yeah, you made some money, but you're already making money, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
So,
I think we all know about how, like, he had those mental health distractions and stuff like that. You don't want to wash all that away with getting a belt, and instead you put more distractions on the table. Now I'm sorry, but people are going to question who you are as a person and a little bit on your sanity. They're like, dang, man, how many times have you been hit to the point
yeah.
where you just wasted 6 months?
Yeah. I mean, the mental health things are a whole nother story to dive into. And then there's a big question. Someone that's already having problems with their mental health, should they be in the ring competing? Is this boxing's fault? The physicians looking over them? I mean, because I mean, if you're having mental health problems, I I in that type of sport, I get automatically reminded by Antonio Brown's hit that he took from that Bengals player.
Yep.
that he stood up and never acted the same. And then, even though we knew there were things wrong, should he have been, we make a mockery when he walks off the field, but should he have even been playing football after that hit? Because we can't really check for CTE when people are alive. There's still so much that we need to learn about that. So, I mean, is this a similar instance where maybe somebody's already experiencing bad head trauma because of the sport they're in, and now the sport isn't stepping in to help them out?
I agree.
It's bad.
I agree. It
Yeah,
reminds me of early CTE, what Ryan
yeah,
Garcia's been going through.
and it's rough because he still went out there and won, and if we don't allow him to do this, then we're stopping an over $12 million paycheck.
Yeah.
I don't
It's a
know what to
double-edged
do,
sword.
and I'm not a doctor, so I can't
No.
fully say, but it just seems like the concussion may not ever stop for someone like him.
I agree. The psychology behind it, to me, seems like the way he was talking 5 years ago, because I've kept up with him on Snapchat and stuff like that too, through his
Yeah,
career, because I like him. I do. I like him as a boxer. But this new persona or whatever, it seems like a split in his brain to me because of something like early signs of CTE.
yeah,
From I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
yeah. We don't
But
know.
we
We
love
just
football, and your brother's a UFC fighter, or a mixed martial artist, whatever I'm
yeah,
supposed to call him. We've seen the signs of it through guys like Mike Tyson's era, Muhammad Ali towards the end of his life. We're shooting arrows not so much in the dark, but we're probably hitting the target.
yeah,
You,
exactly.
you know.
So I don't know. That's something to look at to see if he's already acted up enough to mess up his next opportunity at a shot at the belt. Because, I mean, when it's all said and done, when we look back, we remember the guys who hold the belt.
Yep.
So we'll see. And we'll catch you next week. This is Glenn and Kellz with the Bring It In Show.